Hello and welcome everybody. Hopefully you're joining us on our 5-day road trip, which is the journey of a survivor of human trafficking from vulnerable to victorious. We're going to talk about everything from prevention to stabilization and what that looks like and how complicated and twisty-turny and unexpected the journey is, not only for us who are community members, but those who are actually on the road. I am Brenda Wells. I am the founder and executive director of the I-5 Freedom Network. And I have with us today Whisper James, a new member who is a part of our conversation today. Whisper?
Yes, hi everyone. Thank you for joining us. Um, as Brenda said, my name is Whisper James and a new member to I-5 Freedom Network, which I'm very thrilled to be a part of. Um, the prevention and solution to human trafficking is a personal passion of mine. I'm also a member of a survivor leadership group. So I'm very honored to be here and be partaking in this conversation with everyone.
Great. So day one is the most important day. It's about prevention. If we fail today, then everything else is what comes after. But if we're successful today, we've saved somebody from a lot of trauma and a lifelong curse of overcoming what's about to happen next. So prevention is critical. We know that. And
Absolutely.
what makes somebody vulnerable is what we need to focus on. So we can talk about, prior abuse, foster care, um, financial insecurity. Those are all kinds of things. Whisper in your experience or with what you know, talk to us a little bit about vulnerability. What makes somebody vulnerable?
Yeah, absolutely. There is definitely some of those, key factors that you mentioned, prior abuse, foster care, poverty. Um, but something that is going to likely surprise a lot of people is that a victim of human trafficking is not what you're going to expect. This is not a Hollywood story. This is not someone being grabbed off of the sidewalk and thrown into a van and locked in a basement. The majority of victims of human trafficking are people in everyday life that happen to be vulnerable themselves in some way. A lot of times it would be something that you would expect, the vulnerabilities that maybe get some young person into a gang. They're looking for acceptance or community. They're looking for, someone that's, gonna listen to them, someone that's gonna value them. And a lot of times it's going to be a family member, a boyfriend, a friend, somebody in their life that preys on that vulnerability and reaches out to them. A lot of the messaging from the perpetrators is a us versus them mentality, like no one else understands you but me. And that is a message that's quite easy oftentimes to get through to teenagers or young people, because that's just playing to what they might sometimes already feel. And especially right now, during the coronavirus, the extra isolation, the extra time online, the extra, you know, influences that's going on around us, whether it might be negativity or personal value or anything that's exaggerating the issues right now. So it's really important that we do what we can to help prevent this. And ironically, a lot of the prevention is going to be some of the same tactics that the perpetrator, you know, is going to use on a young person, and that is, you know, reaching out to them, giving them someone to trust, looking out for, the people in your life that maybe, you're not in communication with, or you're seeing signs of them withdrawing or needs, and reaching out to them.
Yeah, so I mean, that's definitely true. We'll cover a little bit more about that as we talk about some of the responses. Uh, Coronavirus one has also exaggerated a problem, which is so much more time online. So kids, so
Yeah.
again, we can agree on some of those easy to identify factors, but right now another factor is just social isolation, which is driving anxiety and depression, and kids are finding their connections online. And by and large, to your point, most of the time, people are pulled into traffic or pushed into trafficking by someone they know and someone they trust, or someone they believe to have their best interests at heart. They're making them promises of things that they feel like they need. And that's also driven by some really strong cultural values that our kids are assuming right now, that in order to be valued, you have to be rich and you have to be sexy.
Yeah,
And so
absolutely.
selfie culture is driving so many people to put themselves out there. Traffickers and predators are finding them on there. They're using that need for external validation to feed them and get them to connect. And that is a really big danger right now. If we can somehow disrupt that need for kids to be validated from the outside and they can be validated from the inside, then we have a much better chance at preventing them from going with these strangers to begin with. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and we have a program that addresses this. It's called, Way to Be, where we work with at-risk and transitional age youth, where we really develop positive peer support. It's
Mhm.
all about constant affirmation, developing yourselves and your confidence to be an advocate for yourself and for others, how to communicate under stress, how to manage your stress. These are all tools that are learned that hopefully will get them the armor they need to stand up against the wiles of a would-be trafficker. All right.
Absolutely.
All right. So again, prevention is key, and we look forward to doing our best there. Day 2 of our journey is if we did not succeed here, it's about how can the community then be the next line of defense to give somebody their exit strategy, leaving the road of trafficking. See you tomorrow.
Yes.